Right, good morning guys, it's the EV bloke here back with another video. Just trotting down here to my local home charger for me, of course, and I want to get into a bit about charging in a minute and a little bit about some questions I've had asked to myself really regarding charging. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the future of the channel and where it's going to go, and I've got some ideas about that and that kind of thing. Anyway, thanks for all those that have been subscribing. I'm up to around about 460, 470 subscribers now, about 30 away from 500 when I can start doing live podcasts, and that's going to be the interesting thing I want to talk about next. So yeah, anyway, let me get plugged in and get everything ready. I've come in here at 7%, 21 miles left, and so good bit of low charge here. So we're probably not going to really record the charging session too much unless there's any weird behaviour here that we need to document, but other than that I'm just going to be chatting with you guys. So right, catch you in a sec. Right, so there we go, we've plugged in, we've engaged. I've never had a single time this has not connected here. This grid serve, one of the grid serve, this is a 90 kilowatt which is just perfect for me, because since I can only get 89 kilowatts on here anyway. And then there's two 150s further up. There's another 19 two 150s further up there. But I try not to ever go on those two if I can help it, because obviously, you know, for obvious reasons really, you know, to just sort of like not take up a larger power supply charger to what I can actually receive, because it just makes no sense. And this is absolutely nothing, of course, and I would go on it, but other than that, you know, I would try not to. Excuse my fingers there. So we're getting 57.9 kilowatts. That will ramp up, of course. It says 1 hour and 4 minutes to 100%. These cars you can keep at 100% ish. When I reached out to BYD, they reckon that once a week you should at least charge it to 100% to keep the battery calibration right, but it doesn't matter even outside of that if you charge it to 100%. So yeah, it's a good car to keep at that. I wouldn't really advise charging up at night and then having it on full charge overnight. I'd really think the best thing to do with charging to 100% is when you're going to be using it almost immediately straight after. To obviously drop that off that top end. I don't think it's really good leaving it on full state of charge for too long, even on this kind of a battery. We're already up to 10% there, as you can see, and it's going to ramp up, and it will continue to ramp. Okay, so anyway, so let's have a little chat now about the things that I've got that I want to chat to you about on this video really, and what's coming up. Right, okay guys, yeah, so okay, let's just talk a little bit about charging, or at least what I can say is like for those that do not have a home charger. Now, pretty much most of the population, I guess, at the moment adopting to electric cars, unless they're mad like me, are actually getting combustion cars. So they're getting petrol, and they're just waiting to see what can happen. But what I am surprised at is reaching out to the council now and to some local companies and this kind of thing, is that there doesn't seem to be anything near enough focus being made on the 40% of people that will not be able to get to have a home charger because of their location, whether they're being in a terraced house, in a high block of flats, or live on a road that goes live on a place where you more or less go straight out onto a pathway, so therefore, you know, it becomes a trip hazard, that kind of thing, which I kind of get. That's not, I don't have an issue with that, but they do have to come up with solutions to that. Now, there are some solutions to it. I think I've spoken to before about this, of I think they're called curbside. They are getting 87 kilowatts now, by the way, and it's up to 30%, so that was pretty rapid. That's good. Yeah, curbside, so where they basically feed the cables underneath they put like a strut across the thing, and then sort of put some tarmacking over it, so although it's still half a trip hazard, I guess you could say, but at least you can see that actually, and then you sort of can put some white yellow lines along it to make it visibly seen, which is one way of getting around the issue. and of course lots of other charger solutions are coming down the road. But I just want to go over UK stance a little bit, and just how really motivated to EVs the government really is. Now, I'm not a political person in this sense. I want to go into deep political things, but I think it probably has to be touched with to a certain degree, because our previous government here got rid of the 2030 cut-off for petrol and diesel, going to the all electric transition from 2030, and this government brought it back in. But at the same time, this government isn't really doing a lot about the infrastructure that I can see. I mean, please let me know in the comments down below if you're seeing anything different, but from what I'm seeing, there hasn't really been an awful lot of change or that kind of thing with regards to solutions for home charging. So when I get to 500 excuse me, when I get to 500 subscribers, which hopefully shouldn't be too long, hopefully, I'm going to start doing a few more podcasts. I want to be interacting with you guys, and I want ideas from you guys, and I want your thoughts about these things, because I'm going to start inviting on, believe it or not, although this is a small channel, by the grand scheme of a lot of channels out there, of course, I'm not a professional journalist or anything like that. I've just got a electric car to do videos, but I do have a fairly good standing and footing with a lot of companies and everything now, because I mean, I am getting some good views on some of my videos, and I'm beginning to get out there a bit, and you know, people are knowing that this channel is there now. So I'm going to start inviting on some of the industry leading companies to discuss about these things. And so I'd love your questions on maybe what's going on in your area for charging solutions that are not very good in your area for home charging, for people that don't have a home charger. If you can have a home charger, at the moment electric makes total sense. It's cheaper to run. You're all starting the day with a full battery, and if you're just pottering around going to work and dropping the kids to school and going about your day doing the day-to-day stuff, it's more than fine. You know, we know this. But when it comes down to yeah, about solutions in the area. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a typical use case with all of this, because obviously I don't have a home charger, so I have an interest in this area of doing a solution with that, you know. So obviously if I can get some kind of home facility where I can do it, or we've got to start doing maybe some cheaper options out there. When I say cheaper, I mean, instead of, because I've turned up to some level 2s that are like 65 pence per kilowatt and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, but hang on a minute, okay, you know, electricity is what it is, but it's a bit much to expect someone to be paying that kind of money per kilowatt and having to wait 8 hours to get it done, to make any point in actually plugging in. At 7 kilowatts on a car like this with a 60 kilowatt hour battery, you're looking at 10 hours, 11 hours plus to get a full charge out of it. If you wanted to just go from like 0 to, okay, you're not going to plug it at 0, and you're probably not going to disconnect at 100, but let's just say 8 hours of that time to just get some reasonable range back in the vehicle. So, you know, it kind of makes no sense in that respect, but, you know, maybe some more competitive pricing and just get some more stuff out there. And it comes to one question now that I've had, and that one question is, how do I get on with just charging at these like fast chargers? Well, I don't. I do level 2 charging. I hop around and sort of put stuff in through the day. I have one free charger near me, actually, still in 2024, which is quite an amazing thing. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Yeah, which is quite a good charger, and I use that sometimes to top up, and I don't feel bad about it either, because I'm paying more than anybody else probably for my charging. I mean, these grid serves are 79 pence per kilowatt. So if you're charging up here every time you're charging to 100% every time from low state of charge, it doesn't take you long to work out through the month. That's going to be quite a lot of money for pottering around kind of stuff. So I do have to take advantage of other areas I can, you know, and that's just it, until they provide decent charging for decent slow charging, top-up charging and slow charging for, which is how this car should be being used really, if you like, in that regard, then that's the way it is, you know. But I'm a very untypical case. I mean, let's be honest about it. There's not a lot of people going out there with no home charging, getting into quite large vehicles like this one, and you know, with slow charging speeds, relatively slow charging speeds, and going out there and fast charging all the time. I just don't see that happening really too often. And let me know in the comments down below if you're in the same boat, you have no home charger, or you have an electric car, and what your thoughts on the options out there for people without home charging. And I'm still waiting for some more responses from my local council, because obviously they have a obligation to the whole city and the county to provide the charging for everybody and all the charging solutions. But that said, they still need to obviously, you know, consider everybody in all of this, and it needs to be a proper thing out. But why I mentioned the government in all of this is because they've made a statement that by 2030, now they are going to, if this government were to go full term, I think it'd be 2029. So you don't know if they're going to get back in again and all that kind of stuff, and whoever comes in could change it. We don't know. But at the moment, as it stands, by 2030, there will be no more petrol and diesel cars being sold brand new in this country. That's the bottom line on it. So my point there is, if that's the case, what's being done about, I mean, we're 2024 now, so you might say, well, yeah, but that's another 5, 6, you know, that's another 6 years, Sean. By then, probably things will be in place. But my more thing is taking up adoption. And this is the area where I have a problem at the moment. We're now putting huge tariffs on China. Now, without getting political again and going into all the depths of why that's happening, we have to be realistic that 70% of all EVs are currently made in China. I've just got the intelligent, you've probably seen this in your car, the intelligent temperature control system power battery is working. I think it's where it controls and regulates temperature and keeps you at the speeds. It's currently getting 87.4 kilowatts with 46 minutes left to charge, as it says here. See, if I was doing a road trip now, sorry to digress, if I was doing a road trip now, what that would mean is I would need to be doing hour charges. I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't, because I'd ride the curve. This drops off at about 64%, something like that. It drops down off the top whack. That probably gives me 100 and something miles. So you'd probably, I mean, I suppose to get the absolute maximum, you need to, that's why the charging curve is even rubbish on here, because you'd have to go from 30 to 64%, that 34% gap, if you wanted to ride the actual full charging curve on here. Anyway, let's get back to the charging stuff. So, so yeah, the solutions are not really there. And I'm just thinking with the government, it's almost like the government are pushing this through. Well, not pushing it through, but going through with all of this, kind of with their kicking and screaming, really. They don't show you they're really interested in the transition, to me anyway. That's how I look at it. Because if you're going to put huge tariffs on China, which then makes the cars very expensive here, and also puts off China from thinking, well, okay, we're going to put those tariffs on, that's fine. But we won't get over the problem that all these cars are going to be being made in China in a few years, you know. So we actually kind of like need to trade with China, which is one of the problems with all things in life. If everything's being manufactured, produced and done in such an efficient, one of the better ways, like it is in China, then we are still going to have to, you know, even if we adopt our own policies and our own ways of doing things, that's going to take time. So you're still going to have some kind of involvement there. And this is a Chinese vehicle, of course. So so yeah, what is the government's real motivation in all of this? We don't have incentives. They took the incentives away very quickly, and they were quite low incentives, really, especially the very early adoption. It was only like 1,500 or something off a car. I mean, you know, not anything major, really. and they were throwing in 3 chargers and things like that, I think, at one point. But home chargers, I mean. But yeah, so incentives need to be there. Maybe they could do some kind of some of the things I'm thinking about is maybe they could do some kind of loyalty scheme for people without home charging. Sometimes I think BP Pulse were doing this a while ago, where you could actually get so many free charge miles and that kind of thing, or get your charging down at a lower rate, sort of thing. Maybe they could bring in something like that, the government, for people who don't have home charging for now. I don't know. I'm just looking at what incentives there are, because you've still got to start transitioning those people. It's all very well saying, oh, well, at the moment we're just concentrating on those with home charging. Okay, but that's not always going to be there. There's 43% in this country that will not have a home charger, or will not be able to have one. And that's quite high. That's quite a high percentage. And at some point, that tipping point is going to come in where that's going to really become a big need. So there needs to be some looking at that and seeing what's going to happen with that. So yeah, I'm just wondering really what is actually going on there, because, you know, the government is saying 2030, but in reality, are we really seeing that on the ground with incentives, really? So it's all a bit political there, but I just have to raise that side of it, because it is a part of it, unfortunately. You know, there is political forces involved in all of this, of course. And so other solutions could be like Tesla do. Tesla do varied, they do varied tariffs. Why don't a lot of these other companies grid serve, like this one here? I mean, if I come along here at 6 in the evening and there's nobody here, which I've done before, and I'm charging, could I really maybe being charged at, say, 55 pence per kilowatt to encourage me to come out of hours or whatever? I mean, 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the evening is when it's kind of main surge time for most electricity uses, so it's probably not a very good example. But I'm just giving that example to say that if you come at off-peak times, can they do off-peak tariffs, these companies? Why are they charging 79 pence a kilowatt if I come along here at 1 o'clock in the morning and charge? You know, and yet everybody else who's got home chargers is charging for like 7 pence, 15 pence or whatever. So there's got to be a bit of you can't just ask these people to pay it all. It does always come back to the question that people are not adopting to electric cars right now for a good percentage of the population. But even so, you still need to be encouraging them and getting them over to that way if it's going to be all electric in a few years, which it most definitely will be. So so that's one thing there. But yeah, so that's the main things I wanted to say there. So if you've got any solutions, if you've seen anything in the news, or you've got anything about possible solutions for home charging for people who don't have home chargers, let me know in the comments down below. If you've got any ideas about it, how you feel it should work. At this point, I normally get a lot of people put comments about, you know, blow Chinese cars, I'm not interested, or whatever, and that kind of thing. Well, you know, fair enough, but they are going to be, when you get a Tesla now in the UK, they all come from China. Volvo come from China. All the big automakers are producing a lot of their cars and then getting them shipped in China, because they're just the leaders at it at the moment. They're the ones with the setup, they're the ones with the minerals, they're the ones with everything. So, you know, like it or loathe it, it's happening. And so yeah, I mean, so yeah, drop some comments down below if you are like me in the situation where you don't have a home charger. How are you managing your charging? So how are you getting around that whole system? Are you just using local supermarkets? Have you got good infrastructure in your area for level 2 charging, where you can leave it overnight, kind of thing? All that sort of stuff. What's going on for you? So I'd love to hear from you guys, and also those that also have home charging. I'd like to hear what you think about in your area, more of the home charging side of it. How you know, looking at it from a point of view, well, if I didn't have a home charger, how would I manage, you know, and that kind of thing. So that's all that. Now, for the channel point of view, I wanted to bring up that, as I said before, I'm going to start doing a lot more podcasty stuff. There's only so many things I can do. Today I'm going to do a video of the V2L, which I've been promising. There's been a few subscribers asking about could I do that, because my last one was a bit of an epic fail. I've plugged in too many things. I think it depends what you plug in and how much power you use as to whether you can use all the plug points on there. So I'm just going to demonstrate how to use it really by plugging something in. And also I found that you can actually leave this car on. I had a message from someone talking about oh, there doesn't seem to be any auxiliary mode or auxiliary mode in the car for leaving the car on, like if you've got a dog in the car or something like that. So there's ventilation in here. There doesn't seem to be like a dog mode as an example, but I've actually found that you can actually leave this on and lock it. How safe that is, I don't know, but you can actually lock it and leave it on. So that's what I do. What I haven't done is tested how long it stays on for, so I want to do that, because could you actually camp like that, you know? I don't know. It's not the best, most ideal solution, but I mean, if you can have ventilation in the summer or heat in the winter, if you're out and about doing something and you need to leave the car on for any reason, like a dog or whatever, then yeah, it'd be good to. So I'll do a little demonstration on that. We'll work out what that does. But obviously, this isn't a vlogging channel as such. So to just have you guys come in, I'm not that kind of charactered person to like have to do like road trips and stuff, and we just talk along the way and all that kind of thing. We can do that, and I don't mind. But like I say, I think for a lot of people, that's not really what they come to this channel for. They come to find out about this car, and I've gone over everything really now, basically. Thanks very much as well for the deep dive video that I recently done, because that's got a lot of views. So thank you very much for that and supporting that video, because it was did take quite a long time to put all that together actually. So I appreciate that. Just slept on the old drink. But yeah, so things are looking good. So yeah, so I just wanted to say, so at 500 subscribers, I'm going to start doing. The reason that comes in is because it makes more sense with the algorithm and everything, because I think I go up to a tier 1 level on monetization and that kind of thing. I don't know quite how it all works yet, but so I'm going to start doing those. And as I say, I'm going to be starting to invite some of these industry leading companies in that are maybe doing home charging solutions, so maybe we can get some people on and see what's out there, and then I can then approach my council, and I advise everyone else to do the same with theirs. And even now, by the way, if you're getting a car and you don't have a home charger, approach your council. Let them be a voice there that you need home charging in your area. We guys that don't have home charging have to fight for this, because it's all very well slapping up loads of DC fast charging everywhere, which they're starting to get on top of now, and there's more and more of it coming, and more of it will come with all these hubs and everything. Even like here, this is just a garden centre, but it's got 8 points, 4 chargers, you know. And that's kind of, if you've got a few of these in a town, a few of these in an area, it makes a lot of difference, you know. And but anyway, yeah, so we're gonna start chatting about all these things, and go down that road, I think. And I think that's an important side of what I would like to cover here. But if you've got any ideas of anything you want to see on this car that I haven't shown, if there's something you can think of, maybe you want me to do a practicality test or something, I don't know, whatever it might be, just drop it down in the comments below, and I will endeavour to do a video about it. I try to do videos, unless it's something I've covered before, and then I usually put a link to videos I've done before, if you know what I mean, because I've got about 40 videos on here now just about this car, which is pretty good going really when you think about it. There's only so many things you can talk about on a car, isn't there? The ideal thing is I would be reviewing lots of other cars, but I went down that road and I found I had to almost just go through a new customer. But at the moment where my level of this channel is, I'd have to go through like a new customer type of angle of taking them out for test drives, and I'm really not interested in that, having a car for half an hour and whipping around doing some kind of thing. I'd need to have it for a good bit of time, like other journalists do, and maybe that time will come in the future, we don't know. But that's would be the other side for this channel to move on to. But for now, we'll be going to be doing that. So, and as I say, if you've got anything that you'd like to see on the channel, then let us know, please do. And please do share the channel with other people. If you know somebody who's getting an Atto 3 or interested in Chinese vehicles, get them linked up to me. Please get them to subscribe to me and help the channel grow that way. So we can see this channel move on and get to a bigger audience, of course. And by the way, if you haven't seen Johnny Smith new video on the Renault 5, I strongly recommend you go watching that. It's a great crack on there. Johnny Smith, one of my favorite YouTubers, so I don't mind bigging him up at all. What a great guy. And it's a really fantastic video on the new Renault 5, and watch it right to the very end as well, because there's some nice little nuggets at the end. But anyway, that's about it from me here. I'm now on 75%. That's not bad, is it? And I'm getting 57.5 kilowatts. We dropped off the top end, of course, and that'll probably hold now to 80%, and then it'll probably drop down to around about 35, what I normally get, and then I should probably be unplugging then anyway. Anyway, you have a great day, guys. The car's holding up really well. Nothing to really say about the car, I don't think. It's doing really well at the moment. I still seem to be getting, well, we haven't really got much of a winter yet, so it's been still pretty mild. But yeah, I'm not getting very much in the way of, I'm not seeing too much dropped speeds or anything in terms of like charging speeds and that kind of thing. I seem to still almost be getting the same range as well, but it's not, I mean, it's 16 degrees now, it says there, so you know, we're not into any cold weather as such yet, really. Well, that'll be the time to judge it. But and it will drop off. Anyway, you have a great day, guys, and look out for my V2L video coming probably shortly after this one, or it might even come on, it might even actually come on before this one, I'm not sure yet. But either way, look out for that. And as I say, and also we'll be testing out the ability to get out of the vehicle, lock it and leave the car on, and how long that lasts. Does it just last for the 30 minutes, which you could do on a preconditioning when you're preheating the car or cooling the car? Is that just using that facility, or can you actually lock it on and leave it for any length of time, so that you could actually stay in this vehicle overnight, is what I'm thinking, you know, with having the air conditioning on. If you're somewhere in the summer and it's hot and you want that airflow, can you do that in this car by doing leaving everything on, getting out of the vehicle, locking it, walking away, which you can do. I mean, I just done it by accident one day, actually. I just forgot to locked it, went away, I come back and I said, oh, everything's on, so everything's actually on in the car. But then I just related it to the preconditioning, to the you know, when you're preheating or pre-cooling the car, that it was just using that facility. But we'll do a test on it and we'll see what we can do there. My guess is it's just going to go for the 30 minutes and then it's going to cut off. That's what I think will happen, but I could be wrong. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I'm waffling on as always, and I'm on 79% now, 57.7 kilowatts. I'm getting, it says 26 minutes to fully charge. So have a good day. Cheers.